Well, it's Tuesday, October the 7th, the day of the second big presidential debate. And we're at Joe and Mary Lee Cooke's in the Oklahoma Panhandle, actually Texhoma, Oklahoma, but there's also Texhoma, Texas. It's right here on the state line. And the Cookes have a grandson that I watched as a young athlete. Something else. Just like his brothers and just like his nephews and so on. I guess not nephews yet. It was his younger brother I was thinking of. But anyway, they've got a grandson that's a football coach in Texas. And he played a lot of college football. And I believe he's a very good coach. Tough business. When he made his decision to not become a farmer, I really thought, David, you don't know what you're getting into. I've been in this education business. I've been the coach, and it's all great when you're winning. No fun at all. If you're not winning, it can be a real struggle. But anyway, sitting here in the living room a while ago with the Cookes, got to talking about David. And that brought up some coaching stories. And one of the stories goes back to ALAMOSA and Coach Roger VIGIL again. We hadn't been there very long. And it, well, was the second, third, fourth year after Coach had been there only a year. And it was time to renew contracts. And the way that really works is that you go to the board after the principals have done their evaluations and you've reviewed them and agreed with them. You go to the board with a list of people that you're going to recommend to not renew. You're going to non-renew them. So, read that list off, and one of my not so favorite board members, one of my real critics eventually, and even then, Mr. Owsley said, "How come Roger VIGIL's name's not on that list?" I said, "Well, what's happened that you'd think maybe Roger VIGIL should be on that list?" Well, he said, "The man's kind of an idiot." That might not be correctly phrasing what he said, but it was the impression I got. Well, I said, wait a minute. What in the world has Mr. VIGIL done that offends you? Well, he said, he's not all there or something. He didn't just, I don't remember the exact words, but he got the point across that you shouldn't renew a fellow that doesn't know any more than he knows. Well, you might recall that in the earlier articles, videos about Roger, I'd indicated that he is not a man that was verbose, to say the least. He didn't have much to say. And I suspect that maybe Mr. Owsley had tried to engage him in conversation and didn't get much in the way of a response, and therefore came across as somebody that didn't really have it all together. Well, Mr. VIGIL had promised us that if we hire him, he would win the conference the second year, and he'd already, I think, won the conference the first year. If he didn't win it, he was right in there in high competition for it. Different people have different ways of interacting. Mr. VIGIL wasn't a great conversationalist, but when he did make a decision, he stood by it. And like I said in that one of those earlier stories, when he left those kids when they were trying to catch the school bus, he spoke volumes, but not with his lips. He spoke volumes with his actions. When he said, yes, I left them. Yes, they were chasing the school bus trying to get us to stop, but I had told them what time we were leaving. Yes, indeed, I can understand why the players learned that if Mr. VIGIL asks you to do something, it's a good idea to listen and do exactly what he's asking you to do. And I'm sure had Mr. Owsley had a wrestling son rather than a basketball playing son, he would have been one of the great supporters, fans of Mr. VIGIL. Because again, you don't judge that coach by how verbose he is, how well spoken he is, You judge him on the effectiveness of his team, the effectiveness of his coaching. Life's kind of like that.